So the Cripple Moab tier 5 sniper in BT6 is an absolute meme of a tower, and for some reason they just keep piling on and they just keep rolling with the memes. So if you guys don't know, recently this tower got changed and now for some reason it has an AoE attack. So I'm talking about the top pad sniper. This is the guy that has a single target attack, or rather I should say it used to have a single target attack, and now once you upgrade to the tier 5 it attacks in an AoE instead of a single target. You guys know how the Cripple Moab increases the damage that Bloons take? Well, that is not his only thing that he's good at. So it was a few updates ago when they just for some reason gave it like plus 200 damage versus Moab class Bloons. So now if you go for the 5th tier, the Cripple Moab, it can literally one-shot small mobs. I'm talking about the blue mobs, right? So if we send 50 ceramics, you guys are gonna see that some of them are not gonna get broken up fully. That's because it targets one bloom, but there's a small bit of AoE around the others. And so here's the thing with this one, it is 28 damage if I remember correctly, or it's 26, and it has a radius of 8 and a pierce of 10 blooms in total. So I was thinking, let's try and play a game and see if this is actually good, and I have a feeling it is not good. I don't think that this is good. It is not meant to be good. I think it's meant to be just a joke. So we're gonna try and use the Cripple Moab as our main DPS, and I brought some towers to help around, so that's why I brought Striker Jones, for example. Oh, and I also brought him for that, for you know, so to catch balloons like that. But let me just get this emergency support because we do have a count balloon incoming. But Striker Jones is level 8, increases the pierce by 25% of nearby towers, and you know what? This guy now has an AoE attack, so he can actually get affected by it. We can also get some extra attack speed by buying the Elite Sniper, and I wanted to play on this map because we can hide the Elite Sniper behind this rock, and it's gonna help us clean around like this back portion of the map. But it's also going to be, oh my god, I mean, this guy is not gonna be the cleanup that we want him to be, right? It's gonna be probably something like micro in between strong at first or whatever it is. But let me just buy the Elite Sniper here towards the back, and I guess this is the reason why they gave it AoE. I mean, there are some rounds in BT6 in which you just get a bunch of balloons versus you, and so what do you do versus these these balloons? You just get a lot of AoE. So I don't know, guys, this is not looking like it's gonna be a tower. It's absolutely not. I mean, if they gave the AoE, you know, to like the tier 1, tier 2, but it's just like a small amount of damage, then I don't know, it might be a bit of a less of a meme, honestly, but it's even a meme like this. So I don't know, let's try and figure out something about this round because it wasn't exactly that bad. Yeah, so look at this one. It is a tier 2 sniper, and if we had a little bit of AoE with like 3 damage onto this one, it would have been amazing. But when you think about it, this, if they gave the AoE to like these smaller tiers, right, so I'm talking about the tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4, that would absolutely defeat the purpose of the shrapnel. And honestly, even if it's like on the Cripple Moab, it still defeats the purpose of the shrapnel when you think about it. But I guess it just makes the 502 the only crosspad that you need, right? So around 39, this guy should be able to one-shot all these strongest balloons. I have him set on strong, and then we're gonna have the Moab incoming. So I'm kind of thinking whether or not I want to buy the bouncy bullets. I think I'm gonna chill for a second, and I just kind of want to see if we can pop the Moab before the Moab, or at least the ceramics, come into the range of this guy, because if they do and he starts attacking them, he's gonna break them. And I feel like if we just stun the Moab, keep it in place, this guy's just gonna one-shot the ceramics, right? And that's gonna be, at least we have this thing going for us. That's really nice. Okay, yeah, I got the bouncing a little bit earlier, and I feel like we are gonna need an alchemist just to help these guys out a little bit. But I'm gonna position the alchemist closer to this guy because I want him prioritized for the berserker brew. But I will still get the jungle jumps first. We need a little bit of extra attack speed, and that's not negotiable. So the thing that this guy suffers is from, well, not having attack speed, and even though we went for the bottom crosspath, it's still not enough. Yeah, absolutely, as expected, these guys are demolishing the 40s. It's probably gonna be the same thing with the 60s, especially if we buy the main Moab. But look at what's happening. It is just one-shotting the ceramics as expected because we have the deadly precision. So at least this is what this guy is good at, and at least, I don't know, if we had the AoE, I mean, it would have been able to deal with the green balloons, hopefully. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if we had the shrapnel, when you think about it, then we would have been able to deal with the greens anyway. So but let me buy the main Moab. I want to keep these Moab class balloons in place because that's all that's going to be happening in the 50s. And let's buy some side upgrades as well. Like, for example, let's remove this dinosaur head because it's blocking the line of sight for the sniper a little bit. Let me get the supply drop, and let's get the elite sniper first because this is going to be some extra attack speed for this guy, and then we're going into the Cripple Moab. I feel like maybe even we get the alchemist first and then we go for the Cripple Moab. You know what, I just remember what the difference between the AoE from the shrapnel and the AoE, which is the new AoE essentially in the Cripple Moab. I just remember what the difference is, and that's the fact that the shrapnel can do 2 things. Number one, it can disperse the stun. So if you have the Cripple Moab, all of the balloons, well, it actually goes to the main Moab as well, but all the balloons behind the main target are going to get stunned. And number 2 is that it also applies the bonus damage that the Cripple Moab has. So I guess that's some of the advantages for the shrapnel over this thing. But if you're going for the damage, you know, if you're going for a pure DPS play, then you should be just getting the 502. And also the damage from the shrapnel, I don't think is going to be comparable to the AoE damage, at least the new AoE damage from the Cripple Moab's AoE, right? You know what? I'm thinking the money's going kind of well. It's around 62. We're gonna hold off the Moab class balloons, then we're gonna have 63. And I'm thinking whether or not we just go for the Cripple Moab straight up, because with $20,000 we can buy the elite sniper if we wanted to, and this thing is probably going to defend, you know, all these 60s and 70s by itself. Well, actually not. It's not gonna be that clean because this guy's, you know, its vision is very bad. Oh my god, wait a minute. Wait, that was around 63. I wasn't paying attention. So let's get the strongest team first, I guess, so we can get the buff going. And this guy is one-shotting the ceramics, but the question is up until when? Yeah, so exactly. So once these ceramics start popping, then that's where it's the weakness gets obvious, right? One of the things that we have going for us though is the Striker Jones level 3 ability. So let's try and use it. If we do we need it now? I feel like we don't need it for this one, but we're gonna have it for the next one. So let's use it now and let's keep these guys in place. And I think I messed it up a little bit actually. Oh my god, I messed it up big time because it popped all these guys into the small yellow. So this might be this might be GG for the entire round. Or is it? No, it's not. Yeah, this guy's way too good. Alright, so this is where the problem starts. So let's move this guy to first, the cripple, not the cripple, but the main Moab. Let's move him to first because we have different types of Moab class balloons. So let's stun the ones at first and let's use the Striker Jones ability. And I feel like, yeah, this should be more than enough. And there we go. As soon as these guys pop, we're gonna have the money. 34,400 and 500. And there we go. We get the money. And let me just buy this thing. This is the absolute meme, which for some reason, a single target tower, which amplifies the damage and now has an AoE around it. Now the AoE is small, so you guys can see that this is the weakness. So as soon as the balloons are separated just a little bit, like for example these ceramics, which is the perfect round to actually showcase how bad this thing is in some cases, it's just not dealing with them. But in the case that the balloons are kind of close to each other, look at that, look at the front of the balloons, it is dealing with some of them. So this AoE should be able to deal with everything the game throws at us, at least in the free play for sure. And then after free play we're gonna see what happens, and that's because these ceramics are not super ceramics yet. And so this guy's damage is 26, which is more than enough to deal with the small ceramics. He was shotting them, so this should be, oh my god, that was around 76. Oh yeah. Yes, I guess there's some value to be had, at least pre-free play, but after free play starts, this is going to be a different story because the damage that the AoE has is 26, and so there's not a ceramic that's strong enough to kind of, you know, to withstand that, so it's eventually going to get one shot essentially. So you guys remember how I said that one of the advantages that the shrapnel has is that the stun gets dispersed onto the balloons behind the main target. Well, I've been watching this guy go at it for like the past 3 rounds in free play, and I can tell you guys that this thing, the new AoE, does the same thing as well. And so here's what's happening. If I switch this guy to strong, yes, you guys see the stun effect is stunning multiple balloons. So I said that there's an advantage to be had with the elite sniper's shrapnel. Wait, was I wrong about the stunning of more balloons? You know, sometimes no, look at these guys, they're getting kept in place. I was not wrong about all of these balloons getting stunned in place. It is an AoE stun, and this absolutely defeats the purpose of the, well, it doesn't absolutely defeat the purpose of the shrapnel, but it's bad news for the shrapnel because there's now no need for you to go for the shrapnel because now you get the attack speed and you get the AoE stun. It's a smaller AoE, to be fair. Let's actually use the overclock for the first time, and let's have this guy just try and defend these guys. So he is set on first, and he is, I mean, I guess the elite sniper is attacking a little bit, but it's mainly this guy. 409,000. Oh yeah, this is definitely the main firepower. Let's switch him to strong, and yeah, look at this thing. He's keeping all these balloons in place. I'm not using anything else. Yes, the stun is definitely AoE. It's not a lot of pierce. It's, you know, it's AoE, and that's what matters, I guess. Let's watch the DATs from round 90, and hopefully we can see some of them. We didn't see a single DAT. That's because they get one shot. That was round 90, and this is gonna be happening on 95 as well. So I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't think that this is like a significant change, is it? I mean, I don't know, guys. This is looking like an absolute meme to me. Let me just switch it to first because I see some ceramics. Yeah, this is exactly the problem with it. The AoE is way too small, and it's kind of a meme AoE. So we're actually gonna lose on this round because the balloons are, at least these ceramics, they're spread out just enough so that the AoE doesn't catch them. So if you see a round like this, then you have problems. But let me switch it to first, let me overclock it, I guess, and let's work towards getting the call to arms, and then maybe we can get some support towers, but I would rather not. I would rather just have this guy attack and see how the AoE does. So with the overclock, it's a lot better, it seems like, and yeah, we can definitely see the AoE kind of doing some damage and popping some of these balloons, and let's just watch it onto these ceramics. So this is kind of a bad spot. I wanted to have the elite defender, not the elite defender, but the elite sniper attack and see a little bit of the track as well, just in case that this guy flops. And it turns out that was a good idea because this thing has 182,000 pops. So that means that those were all balloons that made it past this point. Round 92, by the way, is it one-shotting these 45 mobs? Let me just switch it to strong. It is not. It's two-shotting them. But maybe elite targeting is just not smart enough because this is a mess at the end. Yeah, we're going to need to do some manual targeting. What if I just leave it on first and I keep using Striker Jones's ability? I know that it's going to target the UMGs, but it has a small amount of AoE and it stuns all these small mobs around it. So that's going to buy time for the Cripple Moab to deal with these guys that are in the front. So I'm just going to keep using Striker Jones's level 3 ability and hopefully this is going to work out. I'm keeping this guy on first, by the way. He's not an elite anymore. And let's see if this is going to be enough. I feel like it is. Yeah, once we deal with the small mobs, 92 can be an annoying round. But once you deal with the small mobs, yeah, and look at this thing. This is just the AoE, right? It's the AoE just holding a bunch of ZOMGs and all of the leftovers in place. And that's exactly what it does. Ah, the absolute meme of a tower, guys. 700,000 pops from round 94. 700,000. What an absolute meme of a tower this is. Let's switch it to first so we deal with the small mobs as usual. Let's overclock it as well. And once we deal with the small mobs, I mean, there's going to be a lot of big balloons and they are going to have a lot of small balloons coming out of them, but at least we can take care of them. And look at this thing. It's stunning balloons. It's keeping them in place. And that's probably going to be it for round 94, honestly. But I don't want to jinx it. I did buy the call to arms. Maybe you guys have noticed it in the previous rounds. And we have round 95. Okay, so let's switch this guy to strong now so that he only focuses down the deities. We have the overclock. We have the call to arms. So let me just overclock it. And I feel like these deities, they're not going to survive anything, honestly. But let me just use the Sabo so that we deal with the deities first. And who is dealing with the 45 mobs? That's the question. And the answer is nobody. Oh my god, we're leaking. Okay, so as soon as these guys appear, I'm going to Sabo it up. And I'm actually going to use the call to arms. So I'm going to go all out with these abilities. Let's go like this. Let's use the call to arms. Let's use the stun ability. And let's just try and eliminate as many of these balloons as possible. And so, because this guy is attacking super fast, the AoE is now actually popping the mobs. He's not focusing the mobs. He's focusing the deities. But because the small 45 mobs are in the proximity of the deities, they're getting stunned by the new AoE damage. So the AoE is actually being useful. I'm switching it to first, by the way. There's not a lot of deities remaining, so I don't know. Do we keep it on? Let's just go on strong for a second, and then we're gonna switch to first. So all the deities have been dealt with. Let's switch it to first, and yeah, that's all we needed. So we needed a little bit of extra attack speed, as I mentioned. I think I mentioned this at the start. And as soon as all these guys have been dealt with, then it's probably gonna be smooth sailing. But let me not jinx it. We have the call to arms, so I'm just gonna use it honestly because the next round is 97, and I'm not exactly scared of 97 because it's a super slow round and it's only 2 UMGs. Let's use the Sabo. Let's overclock. Let's use the level 3 Striker Jones ability, and this guy is absolutely going to town. Let's just keep stunning these guys and keep, you know, just kind of keep them in place. Wait for our cooldowns, and if we get the cooldowns for 98, that's going to be very important. Still on first, by the way, and he is defeating these guys no problem. All right, the big one incoming. So let's switch this guy to what? To first. Let's keep him on first. Let's get him overclocked, and let's use everything, and then hopefully we can get 2 rounds of all of our abilities. But so far, let's just get this thing started. Let's just watch this AoE go down. I'm going to keep using the Striker Jones level 3 ability, by the way, because I want to keep all these balloons, you know, kind of cluttered up in one spot so that we can actually use the new AoE that this guy got. The way that you can do that, by the way, is by getting a boomerang as well. We can just kind of, you know, get something like a Moab press boomerang, and it's going to clump them up so that we can use the AoE a little bit better. But I don't want to say so far so good because they are clumped up very much, and I still see a bunch of 45 balloons remaining. So it is going to be round 2 with our abilities. So I'm just using everything. I'm not saving anything. I'm not planning the abilities. Let's just go all out because we're going to need a lot of damage. Let me check the pops. 1.1 million. This guy's absolutely owning. He is doing so much damage thanks to this new AoE, and also the fact, you know, that we are just giving him a lot of attack speed buffs, and he has the opportunity to disperse all that new AoE. And this round is going so slow that we have round 3 of all our abilities. So let's overclock again. Let's get the cold arms. Still 45 balloons. I think that was the last. No, never mind. That's a lot of 45 balloons at the back. But I'm just using these abilities, and you know what? When you have like a single target tower with 26 AoE and 10 pierce, this is how the round is gonna go. But I feel like it does have it, right? So once the 45s have been dealt with, it should be fine, right? I see 1 ZOMG left, and after this one, let me just use the Sabo. Oh, I probably shouldn't have done that because the next one is 99. We might need the Sabo, but let's risk it. It's fine. Let's risk it. But that's gonna be for 98. I feel like. Let me just not jinx it. No, that's fine. We have this thing. Okay, so 99. Let's overclock him. Let's move him to strong because I only want him focusing down the deities. We have the cold arms. That's really good. So as soon as these guys appear, let me use the cold arms to kind of get rid of the deities as soon as possible. And then, do we keep him on first or what? I think we actually let's keep him on strong. Let's deal with the mobs just getting melted down. And that was round 99. And around 100. I mean, not even close, honestly, because this thing does 280 damage per shot. So it is essentially destroying the bat by itself, which is just the weirdest thing, but it is what it is. And there we go, that's the bat just popping, you know, before it can even reach, I don't know, before it can reach Striker Jones barely. Let's overclock. Are we gonna get the cold arms before this thing ends? Probably not, but we got it. Let's just use it. Let's just move this guy to first so he deals with the ceramics, and let's take a look at the pop count. So, 0-1-0 Druid Insta Monkey. I'm really curious about how much damage this thing did. Almost 1.3 million pops, so not exactly, you know, getting close to the 2 mega pops thingy. Maybe possible if you just buy a bunch of slows and you get him a lot of attack speed and stuns and you just keep the balloons in place. But yeah, that was a Cripple Moab AoE, and you know what, if the AoE carries the amplification effect, then you know what, it's probably going to be GG for the Shrapnel, because there's absolutely no need to buy that thing, unless you kind of need the millipede and the camo detection. But honestly, 502 should be the go-to crossfire for this tower. But that's going to be it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to see you on the next one.